Welcome back, guys. Thanks for joining me for another beer review. Let me just try and stop that wobbling. Yeah, we're back with another one, and it's another one now that my wife got me for Christmas in that big box of beers from Beers of Europe. And it's a brewery I've only ever had one beer from. It's a French brewery, and the beer that I had from them was actually on Perfect Draft, and I've got to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was very disappointing. And the brewery we are on about is Brasserie de Flamand, and we've got a bottle of their Anosteke hiver, and it's an amber beer, 330ml bottle, coming in at 8% ABV. So it's a big old beast. It's an amber, French amber beer that's going to be along the lines of like a maybe I'm thinking something like a Left Brune, something like that. Belgium sort of Brune beer. There's the crown. I do like that, something different. So yeah, a nice sort of shaped bottle. I do like them. They're slightly different. Now it is quite warm. It was in the fridge. It'd been in the fridge for ages. I took it out, so this is probably heading towards, probably feeling that about 10 to 12 degrees. I'm guessing something like that. It's got the slightest of sort of chillnesses on it, but not chilled, if you know what I mean. So let's get it cracked open, get it into a glass. Now I don't have an Anosteke glass or whatever you want to call it, so I'm going to whack it in this tint meadow glass. So let's give it a go. Is it a Brune? Is it like a double? It could be. Let's get it cracked open and see what we get. So there's a little bit of smoke on the opening. An amber beer. Now I'm not a big fan of French stuff. It's a French brewery, this is, and I've got to be honest, I'm not a big fan of French stuff. Even the French stuff that's like this, if I'm totally honest. I don't think the French brew particularly great beers in general. Yeah, there's always going to be a few that come out all right and that are quite nice, but I can't say I'm a big fan of them. So, definitely an amber beer and maybe not a Brune. 8%, could it be classed maybe as a triple? I don't know. But amber in colour, a slight haze to it. Not seeing any carbonation go up at all, and we've got, I should have maybe been a bit more vigorous, we've got just a little bit of a skimming of head on top, white head on top. Yeah, it's virtually going that already. So let's dive in on the nose and see what we get. Ooh, booziness, fucking hell, that's definitely boozy. Spicy, boozy. A slight sweet note, maybe something like caramel or toffee in there. But if I'm totally honest, the aroma, there's things going on with the aroma, but there's that sort of booziness that I'm not enjoying. Or there's something else in there. I'm not sure. It's maybe a bit of dark fruit. But there's something there on the nose that I'm not particularly keen on. Well, there's only one way to find out, see what it's like. Brasserie de Flamand and their Anosteke hiver amber beer coming in at 8% ABV. Look at that, it doesn't even look very flattering, does it, in the glass? Oh, bubbles chasing the head as you tilt it. Let's dive in, give it a go. Cheers. First impressions. My first impression was, ooh, not keen on this. And then it was sort of nice for a second, and then it was a little bit odd, and then a little bit different. I don't know, we'll see how the palate adjusts. Maybe the old palate needs adjusting. Certainly different. %. For me, at 8%, It's very light for something like this. You want this to have a bit more weight to it. Very light for 8%. That could be a 5% beer, quite easy body wise. This is going to take some winning me over, this one is, it's got to be said. You sort of drink it, and if I'm honest, it feels sort of flat. As you get it in your mouth, you do feel little bits of carbonation, but in general the beer feels a little bit lifeless, a little bit dull really. The body's, to be honest, the body ain't great on it, and the carbonation I wouldn't say is doing the beer any favours. And even the mouthfeel's not great. I mean, there isn't much carbonation, and it's small bubbles, but somehow it seems to sort of, although it adds a touch of smoothness to the beer, it almost roughens it up as well. And that taste just isn't growing on me. It tastes like typical French beer to me. It really does. Rich, malty, maybe even a touch of a barley wine feel in there. There's an edge to it that sort of feels like a barley wine, but without all the other flavour that makes a barley wine good. Yeah, it's not great, it's got to be said. There's that sort of rich, fruity note, bit boozy on the taste, a little bit bitter on the back end, a little bit sweet on the front end. It's hard work, this is, I tell you. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, I think that's fucking shit, to be honest. I think that is a pretty poor beer, and I will actually struggle to drink that. I don't think that I'll probably finish it, but if I'm brutally honest, I don't think it's one I'm going to enjoy finishing. That's a shame. I think my wife got this from Beers of Europe, and it was somewhere around the £3.39, £3.99 mark, I think, just because I was checking to see if it was like a honey beer, and nothing come up. It kept coming up Cuvée de Hiver, still the same beer, but yeah, typical sort of French stuff really. Not impressed. Would I recommend that to anyone? Well, if you like that, fair dues, knock yourself out, but I certainly wouldn't recommend that beer to anyone. And to be honest, that's the second beer I've had from this brewery, and both very unenjoyable, if I'm honest. Pretty bland and, well, bland, I don't know, just not cutting it. So there you go, there's my thought on it. I'm gonna hold it up again. I ain't gonna recommend it. If you've had this beer before, let me know your thoughts on it. I've had two. As far as I'm concerned, they've both been duffers. That's it, and I'll see you on another one. Cheers.